Good morning. My name is Dirk Matthias. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm the co-chair of the UUFCO worship team. Welcome to all here today and those at home on Zoom to today's all ages service. For those in the building this morning, we invite you to make use of our spaces for families within the sanctuary. The RE space is also open should you and your wee ones like to take a little break. That being said, noise making is expected and welcome. We gather to worship, our hearts alive with hope, with the hope that here we will be truly seen, that here we will be welcomed into the garden of this community where the simple and the elegant, the fluted and frilled, the shy and the dramatic complement one another and are treasured. May we know that here each contributes in their way to the beauty of the whole. Come, let us worship together, all genders, sexualities, politics, clappers and non-clappers, progressive or conservative. May we root ourselves in the value of this congregation, the search for meaning, the celebration of all life, and service in the spirit of love and justice in our world.
With apologies, for those who are new to our congregation and who are parking on Skyliners or Skyline Ranch Road, part of our polite parking protocol is not to park on the pavement. And so, unfortunately, if you are parked there, we just don't want you to get a ticket. So sorry to interrupt the flow of things, and we will not look at who stands up to move your car. Welcome.
Good morning. The opening words this morning are a Chinook blessing litany. The Chinook are North American first people of the Northwest coast and traditionally lived in what are now Washington and Oregon, from the mouth of the Columbia River to the Dalles. We call upon the earth, our planet home, with its beautiful depths and soaring heights, its vitality and abundance of life, and together we ask that it teach us and show us the way. We call upon the mountains, the Cascades and the Olympics, the high green valleys and meadows filled with wildflowers, and the snows that never melt, the summits of intense silence. And we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the waters that rim the earth, horizon to horizon, that flow in our rivers and streams, that fall upon our gardens and fields, and we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the land which grows our food, the nurturing soil, the fertile fields, the abundant gardens and orchards, and we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the forests, the great trees reaching strongly to the sky, with earth in their roots and the heavens in their branches, the fir and the pine and the cedar, and we ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon the creatures of the fields and forests and the seas, our brothers and sisters, the wolves and deer, the eagle and dove, the great whales and the dolphins, the beautiful orca and salmon who share our Northwest home. We ask them to teach us and show us the way. We call upon all those who have lived on this earth, our ancestors and our friends, who dreamed the best for future generations and upon whose lives our lives are built. And with thanksgiving, we call upon them and ask them to teach us and show us the way. And lastly, we call upon all that we hold most sacred, the presence and power of the great spirit of love and truth, which flows through all the universe, to be with us, to teach us and show us the way.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing This Little Light of Mine.
To make laws that make sense to protect people.
While Calvin lights the chalice, here are the words. We light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky above and below, and for our Mother Earth, and for the mystery.
So, yeah, we used to do announcements at this time, and then we moved it, and I was sitting back there just coasting, waiting for Time for All Ages, and it's my turn. Good morning. I'm Chayla Sloper, your Congregational Life Facilitator, and I do have today's announcements. Firstly, a very warm welcome to those who are joining us on Zoom. It might also include my sister, who's recovering from knee surgery, but anyway, for all those who are there, hi, welcome. If you're new to being with our congregation and you'd like to let us know that you're here or sign up for our communications, you can do that. There's a link in the chat. And for those who are new here and you'd like to sign up for our communications, you can do that at the visitors table or at the newcomers or at the connections corner. And our all congregation email is really the best way to hear about all that's going on in our congregation. So for today at least, and then depending on how much clears out, we might have a second Sunday with the lost and found, so that if there are items that you have forgotten or things that you might like to adopt, we just want to make sure that they go. And if they don't, they will be gone. But for those who are here today, and for those especially who are new or newer to the congregation, we are offering our first Sunday newcomer welcome today. It will be in the library following the service, so you have time to grab a cup of coffee or the beverage of your choice, and members of our connections team will just tell you a little bit about all the different ways that you can get involved in the congregation, and you can bring your questions. They are geared, poised, and prepared to answer your questions. So later today at 3 o'clock, all congregants are invited to attend the celebration of life for Ellen Mercer. It is really hard to even know that she's gone from our midst, but we will celebrate her in fine fashion today at 3. And if you can help ahead of time, like at 2 to set up, or afterwards with cleanup, that'll be welcome. And contributions of food, savory or sweet, are also welcome. So yeah, that'll be a tender time in the life of this congregation. Rolling down the week, on Friday, women, we're gonna dance your soul. So this is just a dance party. There was a congregant who asked me, like, I don't know about this, what is, it's just dancing, just music, nothing that's gonna, just dancing. So that's gonna be at 6:30, snacks are provided, bring your own beverage. And then on Saturday, part of what the focus is of our service today is being set up for an art adventure on Saturday. This is an art for all, so really multi-generations, everybody is really welcome to come. And this is an annual event that the Art Resources team provides for us. And this time it's got a socially responsible twist, namely that we're going to be making 3D sculptures with plastic. Now you might say, ew, I don't like plastic. But the point is, plastic is in our world, and let's get together and think about the impact on our world and make something beautiful or at least fun. So the creation time is at 3 o'clock, and then pizza dinner, which is provided, will be at 6. Now for sign-ups, because this is an important event, there are 2 places you can sign up. One at the kiosk and one at the connections corner. So we're really hoping that a lot of folks will come, and the RSVPs help us to know how many to plan for dinner. So the 14th, next Sunday, is our produce and perishables, and just mark your calendars now for Friday the 19th. We'll have the wonderful duo acoustic Eidolon back in concert. A little bit later, we'll be hearing from Kenny Adams of the Fathers Group as he introduces our Greater Community Collection. But I want to say a few words about Kenny. He was working on IT, and we got to know him in the early years of being in the office here at the new building. And so during that time, really got to know what a good soul he is, and he loves our community. He really loves our Central Oregon community. So I just wanted to put in those good words, and you'll hear a little bit more from him later. So with that, blessings on your day.
Good morning. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. And so we are going to have our time for all ages now. And if you are young or young at heart, I invite you to come and join me down here on the rug so that we can all be together. Good morning. This month we have a new theme with our Soul Matters curriculum. We are exploring creativity, and I know we have some really creative friends coming to join us this morning. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how we can take care of our earth, and I have a really fun story to share with you about a turtle. Does anybody like turtles?
I do.
I like turtles. Turtles are probably my favorite animal, especially sea turtles. So with that, let's begin our story. It's called Little Turtle and the Changing Sea, and it's by Becky Davies and Jen Pope. It began with a thunderstorm. The rain lashed and the waves crashed, and the little turtle pushed her way out of the nest and onto the soft, sodden sand. She needed to be quick, with one flipper in front of the other as she pulled herself down the beach toward the sea and toward safety. Thunder rumbled in the sky as Little Turtle slipped into the sea for the very first time. The water rose to meet her, and she was tossed and turned in the sea spray. Which way was up? Tiny Turtle splashed all around, and she yelled, "Swim, swim!" Just then, her little turtle flippers were getting kind of tired. She managed to hitch a ride, and her journey had begun. Warm currents carried Little Turtle over a carpet of color. She danced over the seagrass, and she swam with every shape and size. "What beauty," she said. So happy and content, Little Turtle climbed into a cozy cave, and she slept. Months passed, and Little Turtle was no longer little. She had outgrown her hidey hole. But she would never outgrow the ocean. Turtle swam onward through mile and mile of dazzling open water. She was quite alone, and yet she didn't feel lonely. The ocean was her best friend. At last, Little Turtle's journey was complete. She had made it to the other side of the world. "Home," sighed Turtle, and what a home it was. Foraging and feeding turtles lived there happily for many years, until one day it was time for our little turtle to go home. It was time for her to return. So she swam back across the ocean to the beach where she had been born. But she found that the journey each time was a little bit different. And Turtle, too, was different each time. As she grew year after year, her love for the ocean grew with her, and she saw new sights and made new friends and welcomed new little turtles into the world. Then one day, the ocean itself was kind of different. Colors disappeared, and Turtle found strange new creatures swimming beside her. "Friends?" she asked, but she was met with silence. The strangeness grew and grew. Nowhere looked the same, and Turtle felt lost in the place that she knew most. The ocean no longer felt like a friend. "Hello," called Turtle, but Turtle was still all alone, and she was caught in a net. Just when Turtle thought her journey was over, figures emerged from the strangeness and swam toward her. Turtle was free. She watched as they also tended the seagrass and the coral and her friends. "Thank you," she said. They had returned her to the ocean and began to return Turtle's ocean to her. It was beautiful once more, and she loved it with her whole heart. And so ends our story today. That's so cool that the divers were able to help Little Turtle and all of her friends. And this month, as we're exploring creativity, I knew that some of you might have some good ideas about how we can be creative. So I wondered if you had some thoughts about how we might be able to help animals stay safe and healthy on our earth. Do you have any ideas about that? One idea that I thought about was making sure that trash ends up in the trash can. It's a really important way to keep our waters clean. Anybody else have any thoughts? Any ideas? You have an idea? You could use trash and kind of recycle it to make cool things out of. We're going to do that next Saturday. That'll be so fun. Any other thoughts about how we can keep our earth healthy and safe for our animal friends?
No.
You don't know?
I know.
Oh, you do know?
Saying it is like getting away things that don't fit you anymore.
Oh, give away things that don't fit us anymore and make sure they end up in a safe place. I think that's a really good idea. Can you say it one more time? Recycle. Recycling things. Oh, yeah. Making sure that all the things that we use end up in a safe place are really good ideas. Did you have an idea, Jackson? Or were you just thinking? Upcycling too. Reusing things. Yes, absolutely. Those are really great ideas. Thank you for sharing them with me. We have a fun day today. We are going to stay together and explore instead of leaving. Normally we would kind of leave and go talk about this a little bit more together in our RE space, but we're going to stay here. And we have one more thing that we're going to do up here in this space. But before we do that, let's say the Children's Covenant together, and then Grace is going to help me with our next part. Will you help me say the Children's Covenant? In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. We do love you. We're so glad that you're here. So, sometimes we do something called joys and sorrows. And joys are things that make us feel happy and good inside, and sorrows are things that make us feel kind of sad inside. And we come together and we share them with each other because we love each other and care about each other very much. And when we share our feelings with each other, that's one way that we can show that we love and care about each other. And so Grace is going to help me share some of our grown-up joys and sorrows that they shared with us as they came in. But I'm wondering if we have some joys and sorrows that you want to share here. And if you don't want to say them out loud, you can just think about them in your head, or you can whisper them to a friend next to you. But I want to give you a minute to think about something joyful that's happened or something kind of sad or sorrowful that's happened this week. So you can think about it in your head, you can say it to a friend, or you can tell me and I will share it with everybody. You have one you want to share? Yeah, Jackson is, are you feeling sad or happy about that? Jackson is feeling kind of happy because his dad is away. I'm feeling kind of happy because it rained yesterday. Isaac is feeling kind of sad that it rained yesterday. Did you have one? Do you want me to say it? Can you tell me what your name is one more time? Max. Max is feeling happy because of the flowers. Oh, Revel is happy that they got flowers from the garden store. All right. Anything else? You got one more? You want to say something else? Jackson is also happy because of flowers. What do you think, Sunny? Sunny's happy that rain is coming and it will be summer soon. That's so exciting. So many joys and sorrows here with our friends. I love that we can share those with each other. It's so wonderful to hear all of your thoughts. All right, Grace, do you want to share our joys and sorrows from our grown-up friends? Yes, thank you.
And for those of you who perhaps did not write a joy or sorrow on our sheets that are out at the kiosk, if you are having one in your heart, holding one in your heart, you may stand and light a candle on either side of the sanctuary during this time. Our first joy is from Tom Moore. Thanks to many additional pledges received in the past few weeks, I am thrilled to announce that we reached our pledge goal of $490,000. Thanks to everyone who made this goal a reality. And Tara Peldez shares a joy to run into Checo and Ophelia, visiting from Pueblo, Mexico. They are parents of my dear friend Ophelia, who lives here in Bend. Oops. Mari Brennan shares a joy. My heart is overflowing with gratitude and love for this community. I reached out to our Helping Hands group last week after my ski injury made it impossible for me to walk my dog daily. Barb Cartmill sent out a request, and the most wonderful gift of people came to my home and to my rescue. They cheered me up with their smiles and offers to help and whisked my very happy pup off on adventures. My most sincere thanks to Barb, Joyce Saley, Susan and Rob Kinney, Dawn Song, Donna Dobkin, and Saman Vaya. I feel so blessed and grateful to be a part of this special community. Thank you, Mari and Lucy. Karen Holdstock shares, I had my left knee replacement this past Wednesday. The procedure went well and I was back home by 2:30. Chayla is taking good care of me and is making sure that I keep up on my exercises and my meds. With her help and encouragement, I should be up and about real soon. Kay Stein and Vernon Threlkeld share a concern. They received word from Kathy Day that her husband, Steve Day, is now under hospice care in Tallahassee, Florida. The Days were longtime members of UUFCO, and Steve welcomes cards or messages. For more information, contact Kay or Vernon.
Thank you, Grace. And thank you for coming to join me. So you can all go back and find your spaces wherever you are feeling comfortable, and feel free to move around and take care of your bodies however you need to for the rest of our time together today. My friend Sue is going to share some words with us in a little bit about how we can work to keep our earth happy and healthy, and I'm excited to hear about that. But before Sue comes, we are going to have our offering, and we have a special guest here with us today to share a little bit about our Greater Community Collection. So Kenny Adams represents the Fathers Group, and he's going to come and tell us a little bit more about what they're doing. But while Kenny's coming, I wanted to share that in addition to collecting funds today, our youth, you may have remembered our Ripple project that we had a few months ago, where everybody got $5, and then some people put it together and they added more and more so that they could increase their abundance of their funds. So our youth put all of their funds together and participated in a couple of different activities to increase their funds, and today they are sharing part of those funds with our GCC collection and the Fathers Group. So thank you, youth, and thank you, Kenny, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. As you just heard, my name is Kenny Adams. I am the Executive Director of the Fathers Group. And also thank you, Shayla. Yes, we definitely go back to the beginnings of this building. And thank you, Ron, for the invite as well. I'm going to start out just really quick. I will try to be brief. For those that know me, especially Shayla, you know, brevity is not my forte. So I will try to keep it short. But I want to introduce you guys to a symbol that's on my sweatshirt. This is the Sankofa bird. Is anyone familiar with this symbol? As I expected, which is fine. The Sankofa bird comes from Ghana. As you can see, it's a bird with its feet facing forward, its head looking backwards, and an egg shape in its mouth. Sankofa, and the whole meaning behind it is, in order to move into the future, you also have to pull from your past, and the egg represents taking the next generation forward with you. And that's really what the Fathers Group is based on. The Fathers Group was birthed in crisis. We, back in 2018, there was a gentleman who had a son in the Ben Lapine school systems, and they were facing some racial bullying. His son was, and he had nowhere to turn. This was before DEI was a thing. This was before there was a lot of people talking about race issues en masse, especially here in this community. And he had nowhere to turn. And Central Oregon has about 0.65% black people in population. So he didn't really have a lot of connection with his community. So but he also did know a few other fathers in the area. So he leaned on them to help provide a foundation and support system to be able to navigate within the school systems, to be able to come out with a decent outcome for his child. And from there on, we decided that it was a good idea to formalize something because it was something that came together naturally and easily, and we were able to support each other. So in 2020, we became a 501c3, and it is a black-led nonprofit here in Central Oregon that focuses on students and families, working to enrich the lives of said students and families and individuals, and to really just let the community get to know us. There is very few of us here in this community, but we are doing very, very big things. We have a Saturday morning youth program that we put together. All students are welcome. We do it through an Afrocentric lens, but kids have access to woodworking. We had Ben Film come through and help the kids learn how to make short films, which will then be submitted to the Ben Film Festival. We have worked with, we just had spoken word classes. We also have improv acting classes that the students are, and this is all free. It's very low barrier. We have our the Deshaun Adderley Scholarship, which is named after a student who is no longer with us due to racial bullying. And it was here in this community. And we created that scholarship fund in his honor to create low barrier scholarships for students to be able to further their education. We also have a bridge program which works to help people that are in the parole and probation system to get out of that system and find jobs, to be able to integrate back into the community, and to again have that support system. And of course we have the Juneteenth celebration, which is happening again this year at Drake Park on June 17th and 18th. And last year we had over 11,000 people come through the park. It's a free festival. We highly encourage you guys to come through, but we can't do this without the support of the community, without volunteers, without donations. So I will be at the table in, I'm not sure exactly what you call that hall, but the next room over. This is a very, very beautiful facility, but I'll be there if you have any other questions. Thank you guys so much for having me come out, and I look forward to meeting some of you.
It's coming for you. Ten green bottles sitting on shore. Look to the sea, there's a million more. We know something has got to be done. Something has got to be done. Something has got to be done. It began about a century ago. Plastic became the star of the show. Molded into anything you like. A straw for your drink or a seat for your bike. They may have had good intentions. One little thing about the new inventions. Uh-oh, it won't break down. Hundreds of years it'll be around. 10 green bottles sitting on the shore. Look to the sea, there's a million more. We know something has got to be done. Something has got to be done. Gotta be done. Something has got to be done. 8 billion tons goes into the ocean, making our water a deadly potion. 90% of our rubbish is floating. You better watch out if you head out boating. Time to choose our own destiny. Less plastic waste and no fish in the sea.
We gotta act now, or there will be more plastic than fish by 2050.
So what's the solution? What can we do? Cut the pollution. You can help the earth if you choose. 10 green bottles sitting on the shore. Look to the sea, there's a million more. We know something has got to be done. be done? Please reduce, recycle, reuse.
Good morning. I'm Sue Wilhelm, and I'm speaking to you today in my role as co-chair of the Art Resources team. You've already heard from Grace Kennedy, my co-chair, and Verlene Arnold and Ellen Atkin have also helped lead the songs, so that's 4 of our team. And then we have the other names of the team up on the screen, and also our mission is up on the screen. I asked myself, how did I find myself up here speaking to you? Because speaking's not my thing. But it all kind of started with a leadership development discussion that we had about making cross-community and committee connections. And at that time, I made a personal goal to include and orchestrate some art exhibits that had environmental themes, and specifically the trash problem. And I'm not talking about any old trash.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Plastics.
Yes, plastics. So I started to pay attention before I threw away my plastic containers and wrapping, and I was literally shocked at how much plastic that was going through my hands every day that I was using. It was astounding. So I decided to collect it, not to throw any of it away. And then I started sorting it, and I started cutting it into pieces, and I started putting it in little containers with different colors. And plastic was dominating my studio space, my thoughts, and my actions. So I began to do more research, and I became aware of what a huge problem this is. It hurts animals. They eat it, they get caught in it, they get sick because of it. It also hurts us. The environment and health and our health are linked, and plastic does not decompose. It can, over hundreds of years, it can break down into little tiny pieces, but they don't join the soil in a healthy way. They become microplastics. And they have made it into our diets. We're eating, breathing, and drinking microplastics every day. And that's not good for our bodies. There are also chemicals in plastics as they break down that like to join with elements in the environment, and those are associated with health problems as well. So it's a big problem. It hurts our Earth. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch was discovered in 1997, and it is now twice the size of the state of Texas. It's made up of an estimated 3.6 trillion pieces of plastic. Our group recently coordinated with the movie group to show the full version of the film Washed Ashore. And we would like to play a short clip for those of you who are unfamiliar with this project.
Now to our NewsHour Share, something that caught our eye that might be of interest to you too. 17 larger-than-life sea creatures have taken up residence in the nation's capital this summer. The NewsHour's Julia Griffin recently paid them a visit.
Octavia the octopus, Priscilla the parrotfish, and Flash the marlin. All sculptures now on display at Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C., and all made of trash pulled from the Pacific Ocean.
All of this is garbage off the beaches.
Angela Hazelton-Potsy is the lead artist and executive director of Washed Ashore, a nonprofit seeking to educate the public on the plastics polluting the world's oceans.
We create sculptures that can teach people about the problem. And as an artist, it's a real challenge to use everything that comes up off the beach.
In 6 years, Hazelton-Potsy and her team of volunteers have created 66 sculptures from more than 38,000 pounds of debris collected from a stretch of Oregon's coastline. The countless bottle caps, flip-flops, and beach toys are just a fraction of the more than 315 billion pounds of plastic estimated to be in the world's oceans. Such plastics not only pose entanglement threats to marine animals, but are often mistaken for food.
I think it's a really different way to show the message, because in the art there was things that you would never expected to be washed on the ocean. There was a million lighters and all of these different things that were really surprising to find.
I thought it was lovely, really colourful and eye-catching, and actually makes you think about the waste that's in the sea and just how much there is.
You can't put trash in the ocean because it'll hurt animals.
As scientists debate how to clean the water, Hazelton-Potsy hopes her sculptures will inspire visitors to curb pollution in the first place. For the PBS NewsHour from the National Zoo, I'm Julia Griffin.
So we do work at recycling, but I found out that recycling is not working very well for us. Plastics producers are the ones who started the recycling programs to ease our guilt about using plastic. And yeah, ironic. And then since that happened, we're actually using more and more and more plastics. Our recycling programs are limited and inconsistent. If you go from one city to the next, you'll find that it's confusing. What can I recycle? What will actually end up reused? Most of our recycled items actually do end up in landfills and in the ocean. This is a big problem. So big problems can seem overwhelming. What can you do when a problem seems huge? So I'd like you to take a moment to turn to a neighbor and just think of one thing you could share that you do when something is a really big problem. How do you deal with it? Thank you for sharing with each other. I had a few ideas when I thought about these big problems, because I used to be a teacher, and I would tell my students, if you have something that seems really overwhelming, break it down into small pieces or chunks and take baby steps. Also, do what I can do right now. And there's always something that you can do to take a first step. Also, to be open to solutions that come from unexpected sources. If you watch and listen and open up to the world, it may give you some answers. And I always try to learn what else I can do. So I found that we can always join together to make an impact. So here's a good way to start. You can tune in for 1 week, stop, and pay attention when you approach your trash can and collect all the plastic that you would normally throw away. If you have not done this before, I guarantee you will be astounded. You can also recycle and compost properly. We are going to post Ben's guidelines for recycling in the gallery when we have our show about this plastic. You can reduce the amount of packaging that you buy. It's changed the whole way that I shop now, because I refuse to buy strawberries that are wrapped in plastic or lettuce that is wrapped in plastic. So sometimes you have to go the extra mile to find those things. You can reuse and repurpose the plastic items that you do have. And you can join us on Saturday to create art from the trash, the plastic that we've been collecting as a community. Our Art for All Plastic and Plastic Pollution Palooza details are shown in the next slide. Thank you. We are going to make plastic art, that some of which will be shown in the gallery over the summer, June through August, and some of it will be taken home. I think Shayla gave you a good description of how that day is going to unfold. You're going to come in the afternoon at 3, and we will create these pieces. There will be some individual pieces, and there will be some group pieces. There will be options for people of all ages, from 2 years old through 102. Our hope is not just to create an intriguing exhibit, but to raise awareness, to share a changed perspective, and to inspire you to walk more gently in the world. Thank you.
We invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing "We Got the Whole World."
We've got the whole world in our hands. 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 We've got the rivers and the oceans in our hands. We've got the rivers and the oceans in our hands. We've got the rivers and the oceans in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the trees and the flowers in our hands. We've got the trees and the flowers in our hands. We've got the trees and the flowers in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the air that we breathe in our hands. We've got the air we breathe in our hands. We've got the air we breathe in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whales and the dolphins in our whole world in our hands. This is a poem by Jessalyn Posada. The sea sees all. When did the radiant blue abstract you carry dull down? When is the glisten in which attracted for miles around? What has been done to the beauty such as thee? Why continue to nurture while being taken for granted? How did we forsake you, Mother Ocean, giver of oxygen, shaping our climate, provider of water? You dominate this planet as though ruler, but silent as the air we breathe. We only know 3% of you, yet that is far too much. Rather than praising, humankind has mistreated you. You are not hungry for plastic scraps, only famished for clear waters and sunny days. Carrying 94% of aquatic life forms on Earth, you remain peaceful. Mankind continues to study the deep unknown, yet the underlying unknown is how do you do it? Why must we destroy the things we love? Please stand for the reciting of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Please remain standing as we sing our final song, Blue Boat Home.
Oh, below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I traveled, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning on
right. Well, if you were inspired to keep our Earth a bit cleaner today, I think there's an event coming up this week to make art with plastic. So let's see who is listening. When is the event happening? Saturday. What time is